can see shit. That's awesome.
We are live. Yay.
Fantastic. You hit the button. Did you hit the
Oh
button?
no, I didn't hit that other button.
Button.
There's that button.
Buttons. So let me no, do it that
You share with tons of peoples.
way. No,
Your peoples.
anybody. Well, people I'm told to, which is pretty cool. Because you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. Other times it's like, no. So it just depends on which way that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, divine selection.
Kind of. What's going on, Black Sheep? How you doing, Tiff? Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. So normally we throw down on the podcast on Sunday nights, but we were urged to jump on tonight, and
It's Friday.
it's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. Jump on tonight and talk a little bit. Talk a little bit about whatever I'm allowed to talk about. Let's put it that way. Um, and go from there. So we are live on YouTube as well. So for those of you that want to join over on YouTube, you're more than welcome to. Um, no, I'm not just talking to myself. I'm,
No,
you
no.
guys just can't hear it necessarily all the way, in a sense, because I've got Jose on the other side of me, and he's live from his channel as well. So we were told him that
It's a
just
whole 3D experience.
yeah, a whole technology experience. I'm surprised that we pulled it off in a way that was soft.
Yeah, and normally it's this is nice, a smooth start.
Yeah, it's a learned process.
Yeah.
When you jump into things, I'm the type of person that's like gung ho. It's like 110,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just all in. And so, um, I guess I'd like to begin by saying welcome. Thanks for you guys jumping in tonight. That
Yeah,
you guys
thanks
are
for being
here.
here, y'all.
Yeah,
Thanks for being here.
share the live if you'd like. And I'll try to go this way here. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can. No, not gonna work that way tonight. So if I were to back the camera up where the computer is, you'd see that there. But anyway, long story short, you can view both of us over there live on YouTube tonight. So, um, there's a lot of higher states of consciousness that are going to go on. There's a lot of awarenesses that are going to go on in this live more than likely because Jay and I just like to sit sometimes and have conversations and without hesitation, without expectation, things just start rambling out and things just completely come about. And this morning was one of those beautiful experiences, and that's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about a little bit more and digress a little bit more on this evening with you. And you get to have some realizations during that conversation, and I think you got to have some realizations not only about you, but about myself, but about the collective, as a whole, and what's progressing here that is just so very old. And there's a lot of stories that have been foretold. There's a lot of prophecy that's been foretold. There's a lot of things that are going on at play all around. And so I want to kind of like talk about the revelations. And I'm taking content from this Zoom that I got to have with a mentee, and it was beautiful because sometimes there's just things that come through, of course, and are just naturally channeled. And through this experience, Jose got to see just a snippet of it, but through this experience, there was a lot of information that was received in telecommunications and stuff like that, and different vibrations and frequencies. And a lot of the stuff that I receive happens just naturally like that. And not only is it what the person needs at that time to make sense, but it's also where there's a comprehensive collective awareness that comes through in that unveiling of that channeling. And a lot happened. And I'm going to try to digress into it the best way that I can for the experience, to help you guys understand. So we all know and we all understand that we come from a multi-dimensional layer. There's multiple different dimensions of ourselves in awareness, okay? And at this time, I'm going to try to explain the energy. I'm going to try to explain the visions that were going on and within my prism, and the state of consciousness that was going on through my body when this was happening. And I got some pretty cool visions, so I can't wait to tattoo them and draw them, by the way. Um, but long story short, so I got to come into understanding, and the understanding that I got to come into was pretty demanding on my being, because it was putting me into a grip of where, of course, I wanted to question things, but the realizations and the message that was coming through was just coming through in a different way. And so the essence of creation itself, if you think about this, they want me to start it out like this. The essence of creation itself in divinity, in source formation, we call it the life, we call it the breath, we call it the existence of, right? And as I digress through this, okay, that's life force energy, that's chi, right? That's pranayama, that's all things in whole, that's everything around us, everything within us, everything in existence. And when we receive intuitive information, okay, without hesitation, and we don't question that information, and that's a validation, it's just a knowing, it's just a confirmation, or it's an intuitive piece that you were looking for in validation or confirmation to go from point A to point B, right? And so when you receive that information, it just comes in intuitively, right? Some people see it through vision, some people get it through word vibration and frequency. Sometimes it comes in through babble, where it's like two or three words in digression, and then sometimes they talk backwards like pig Latin, and you got to figure out the whole existence and frequency and telecommunications and those types of things. And so that's usually how the first channel starts to go. And so as I was digressing through this information with my team, there's a lot of intuitive hits that people have received, because we call them downloads, right? And a lot of messages and a lot of things. And it's very interpersonal right now, because that's what the energy is calling for. And when that spark of that passion hits at your door, it's the follow through. It's the you putting that physical into creation, which is the God particle. So give me a second to explain this. The divine feminine receives the vision, receives the intuitive confirmation, right? That's the feminine energy within you that receives the confirmation. The God essence is bringing that forth into creation, right? Now, many of you have heard the transmissions that I received. And in the beginning, it was us and we were it. Okay, and in the beginning, um, was the seed of creation, or did you forget? Right, and the seed of creation, that spark of creation, is where there was two things that formed that sparked that creation. Now, the only way that that spark of creation could experience itself was to put us into a physical place of existence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it wanted to experience itself. It wanted to experience what it was on a physical realm. It wanted to bring heaven to earth. Okay. We won't get into all the catastrophic details of all the things that happened in the in between, and da 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 da, and why we're here now and why we're transitioning and all that. We won't get into the bigger, deeper
Yeah,
parts of
you're
those
just
aspects,
explaining the
right?
singularity.
Right, exactly. So, long story short, okay, it wanted to experience itself. And everybody likes to run around and say, yeah, universe playing hide and seek. And everybody likes to run around and say that, I'm a child of God. No, you are God. You are source. Creation wanted to experience itself in vibration and physical form. And so it chose to birth this form. Right now, there's a lot of mix up. I'm just explaining the bare bones of things right now. All right, man. And so in that form of creation and validation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In that form of creation and validation. So it sparked itself, right? So then guess what? It's been the lower dimensional forms because of, yes, the all the programming and all the things, and the not the third strand DNA, and all the slavery and all the torment and all those things that have gone on forever, right? Okay. And so eventually the energy started to, a long time ago, our energy started to switch, right? And so there were more conscious beings, more spiritual beings, more conscious beings in awareness, reflecting back to the God particle essence of the universe what it was, right? We always are told that we create our own reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now this energy starts to understand itself in a higher dimensional form, because as you work on you, and you come into the God essence of you and the God particle of you in form, you understand how to project, you understand how to protect, you understand how to manipulate, you understand how to vibrate that energy in physical form, okay, in this reality. And a lot of people don't understand what that really looks like just yet, with where we're at with the
Yeah.
frequency and the dimension and stuff. Now that will shift here very soon within the energies here when we get to 0 point Aries, okay, and that's in February 2026. But in this existence, it comes out in like physical form vibration, right? And so the more that the collective has risen and the more that the collective has shifted into a higher vibration, the God essence and God particle has transitioned in frequency itself, right? In vibration, right? So it understands itself more in physical form. That's what people call consciousness, higher states of consciousness, or the collective consciousness, right? So it understands itself in higher form because more beings have risen, right? In a higher state of consciousness
Mm-hmm.
to then reflect that back to the God essence itself, to then reflect that energy back in higher form, right? Now, the 3IA Atlas has a lot to do with this. This is not the first time that we've received interstellar codings, interstellar hits, interstellar stuff like this.
Yeah,
Okay, it's
there's
number
waves of
3
that stuff happening a lot.
all the time, right? But this one is bigger because it's on its own orbital plane, and the way that it's orbiting is north to south in this existence, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's about to come back around on November 11th.
11/11.
11/11,
Ha.
baby. Ha ha. And there's a lot that goes on the 11th, too, astrologically speaking, not just that, okay? There's more that goes on astrologically, too, on the 11th. But so it's going like this around the orbital plane, right? And everything else is going like this. So you don't think that those frequencies are stretching and pulling on Gaia's magnetic planes, right? It's all Hopi prophecy right now, guys. And so you've got this shifting and pulling, and you've got her frequencies pulling and shifting. And so by this rifting of these poles shifting, and it's the magnetic poles that are switching and shifting, okay, and that's frequency, that's coding. Those are going to be a lot of things that happen that I foretold a long time ago, that are just at the very beginning of these transitional peaks, that it's just going to be this snowball and this peak, and then another snowball and a peak, and another snowball and a peak, and another snowball and a peak, okay, because
Mm-hmm.
this is how the dismantling of things has to occur, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the very energy of itself that it is, we are replicating in energy, right? It would only mean that at some point in time that frequency of Gaia is stretched so incredibly much that in frequency it replicates itself, which would be what
Yeah, kind
people
of
are
like
seeing.
where a bubble pulls off.
Yeah,
You pull
yeah,
off there's just enough force to make another bubble off of a bubble.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that force is what people are calling the new earth, right? The new
Mm-hmm.
frequency, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
It's a layer.
it's another
It's
layer.
an onion layer, dude.
Yes.
It's shedding a layer that it don't need no more.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you guys for your love. But it's where that transitioning and that frequency and that pull apart is naturally occurring.
Mm-hmm.
And so people are getting hit over the head right now. Now, in existence, okay, you have to think about this and be really smart, okay? And I love to bring physics and theory and philosophy into these things, along with divine information that's been given in replication here. So, with what we understand and know, this is an interstellar thing. This is an interstellar code, right? And they keep saying binary to me. So it's a reset. It's a binary reset of coding. So it's resetting frequencies, and it's resetting our cellular coding, and it's resetting our third eye, and it's resetting the awakening of the collective beings, okay. And this even translates into the message of the last video, not what was on my story, but my last video that I received in transmission. And so people are going to be evolving and growing and changing like this overnight. And that's what people are seeing in these things, of these opportunities or these openings or these things, because people are transcending through these frequencies. If they can remain grounded, if they can remain stable, if they can keep their energy body clean, Okay, and understand what that means. And I'm not talking about health, but I'm not talking about completely in a sense of complete of state healthiness. I'm talking about energetically
Energetic
clean,
hygiene.
energetic hygiene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and yes, it does come from the embodiment of, but I'm talking about on a deeper state of awareness and consciousness. And so you are, it's like the transcendence here of the process, and people are gearing up, and I know for a fact it's going to go the way that I was always foretold. Meaning, from that aspect, there's going to be many that see, but not a part of the atrophy, is what was just said to me. So there was one of those things that was coming in realization, and I remember there was a woman, and I'll quote her name to this day, and I love that lady to death. Shout out to Sable Moon, wherever you are. But I was talking to this lady, and I was just channeling information, and in one moment, in one breath, they showed me in physical form how there wasn't going to be a government left after the astrology was done and after things dismantled. It was going to be like this independence of sovereignty based on different states and
Even
so
the
on and
world
so forth.
astrologers predicted it too.
Right. And I have no clue. This was what, 3 years ago?
The resetting, the renewing of a regime.
Yeah, and it's all goes back to astrological things. There's only like what, we're at the last year and a half that the United States can even reign.
Yeah.
Because every reign only lasts like 254 years or something like that, and we're
Mm-hmm.
at that peak.
Yeah, we're
right
already
now.
at that peak of reign, because the last one lasted about that much too,
Yeah.
260 something years.
Yeah, and so a lot of the things are about to clear, which means there's going to be a lot of things that open up for people that are in unison on consciousness and stability and groundedness and awareness, and being able to peek through these frequencies of understanding that the things that are changing in their physical lives is because they've asked for these things. And a lot of people get irritated or get upset because they pray for things, they ask for things, but yet they don't understand what that fully means when they ask for the truth to be found, or they ask for this to be, revealed, or they want that what they're seeking, right?
Yeah, it's like you got to be able to look. You can't just ask and not listen.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't just ask and not wait.
Right.
Because how the hell are you gonna hear anything if you're busy doing shit?
And so in a vibrational
Just saying.
if you're so busy in the mind, how are you going to be able to pay attention?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Breathe.
Breathe.
Listen to that. That'll keep you busy.
I love your straightforwardness. It's like, breathe. Pay attention to that. That'll keep you busy. And it's like, yeah, Jay. All right, bro. That would be great in a world full of people that were in perfect alignment, and not a world full of misfits. But you're dealing with a world full of an island of misfit toys that are coming into revelation of what they are, not who they are, and how they've existed in this orbital plane by far in a two-dimensional time frame and not lost their mind.
Yeah.
And their brains not on the floor, because that's what's about to happen to many people's doors, bro.
Well, I mean, come on, man. I think that, there's a lot of cycles that have come to an end in these last couple months, for a lot of people that are paying attention.
Yeah.
So now it's time for all this new.
Yeah.
And I think it's, it's like, if there was something that I could give advice to people, it's like, hey, embrace it.
Yeah.
It's scary as fuck because you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's the fun of the experience.
How are you going to enjoy life, dude, if you don't have any surprises?
You know what's really cool is this takes me back to one of my old childhood things, bro.
Uh-huh.
I was that kid that had to play seek and find, and I think we spoke about this the other day. I was like, bro, I knew where every Christmas present was. It didn't matter what my mom, what my grandparents tried to do to hide the shit. Every Christmas presents, I would find every single one. And that's why Spirit has had such a hard time keeping things from me, because I just know too much. At first it came from like that cognizance of being a little shit, and now it just comes from a knowing, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not looking, I'm not trying. So like, because I'll feel the energy of disdain from my team when I've like gone a little too far,
Well, there's a difference between digging.
And I'm like, no tricks, bro. I just want treats. And they're like, bro, stop digging. And I'm like, I'm not, I just know. I can't help that. I know it's not that I tried to do anything or ask. It just happened like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
um, I learned from experiences about, okay, it's like, okay, when you're going too far because it starts to pull on your heart space, and then maybe your gut's a little bit, and then you're just hearing no, 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 and then I'm
And then
like,
you got to bite your tongue.
yeah, or I'll say something stupid that I'm not supposed to say, and my brain will lock up, and I'll be like, all right, dude, okay, I'm good. All right, I'm
You
not gonna
totally
say that
forget.
shit.
You totally forget what your
What
next
were we
thought was
talking
going to
about?
be, right?
Yeah.
That's when you get flashy things. That's when you get flashy things.
Uh-huh.
I got this like hair that's like right here, bro. It's probably fuck out of me. There we go, finally. All right.
Poor lady.
Oh, it's driving me nuts, man.
Errant hairs.
Yeah, it was like right there, and it was like tickling the shit out of me, and I was like, get rid of it. All right, so okay, now back to the realizations on a higher level of programming here, because there's that feeling of they just shut the door on me. They're like, they're like, that's enough, Steph. Shut up. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna close that door. All right, so okay, so in this awareness too, when we were speaking these things through. So once you understand that you're no separate from, see, okay, when you're thinking, I got to go back. So we're talking about the interstellar uh, asteroid here right now.
Okay,
or
the
whatever,
3-eye.
3-eye thing. Okay, so I sound like such an ass when I talk about it, but it's imperative to me to reach the people that need to help understand this in their awareness. So it holds certain frequencies, certain codes, right? And it's doing certain pulls and certain things on people's bodies, right?
It's a particle shower. For those of you who are into the science.
So when things say interstellar, it's because it's from outside of our galaxy, and just to give this awareness, okay, there's been many people that have been like, oh, there's Palladians on it, oh, there's this on it, and I'm like,
I don't believe that for one fucking bit.
They're all inside of our galaxy. And number two, why would they even put themselves on a physical vibration of being a comet when it's interstellar information encoding vibration that we are too dumb to figure out what the codes are, just like people understanding the coding of harmonics, right? And the frequencies, these things are put here by the divine. And so, anyway, going back to that, when I was divining with the divine on this about what this all is about, that's when the divine essence of energy showed me something in vibration, and I got this vision. And I want to talk about this vision because it was one of the coolest visions I received. And the divine made a hand come through the firmament, right, in my mind. And so it was all total blackness. And then when this formulation of this big ass hand in my mind space came through that blackness of that firmament, it lit up, but you could still see the outline of the hand. Okay. And you know how you and I always say that the planets are all God's clock, right? It's the universal clock, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know how every planet's on its own orbital plane, right?
Yeah.
Well, he pulled that apart like this, and then all of a sudden, the divine's hands started to play the planets like they were chords, bro, to show me the essence of, divine timing and the clock and what's going on, right?
Not only is it a clock, but it's
frequency, it's sound.
It's all
yes,
sound.
It's all like, sound and frequency.
If I was actually curious about it, and I started doing some research on YouTube because the Voyager probe actually recorded the planets as it passed by. And if you listen to Earth's natural frequency, like the legit Voyager natural frequency, it soothes the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
Because that's the song of the planet itself. That's what the frequency sounds like. and occasionally you hear protons bouncing off the atmosphere.
That's dope.
So you hear
Pew!
pew,
That's dope.
pew, and according to this, doing the more research, is that those protons that are
Yeah.
bouncing off
Hmm.
that make those noises, those are the chirps that you hear from the birds sometimes.
Yeah.
That they can hear. They're so connected that the upper
Oh,
atmosphere
yeah.
gives them songs to sing.
Well, yeah, that makes complete sense to me because it's the birds that carry the messages to heaven to deliver the messages.
Yeah,
Bro.
yeah, okay.
All right, that's the native way, bro. It's the come on, man. It's the native way, bro. Just like the smoke carries the prayers, okay, up to the heavens, right? The birds, man, the birds sing. The birds bring the messages. They're the bridge, bro. The birds have always been the bridges between the heaven and earth, bro. From the transmission, we also gather those that carry the feather and the rose, right? The feathers, what the feathers represent, right?
Yeah.
The birds are the oldest form of existence in a sense that we have in animal form. Because the birds, quote unquote,
We're dinosaurs.
I
don't know about.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I'm just saying, like, in a sense, right? It's like the oldest thing that was here in creation before we even were in vibration.
Yeah.
And they take the messages to the heavens, but they bring them back as well. So that's just anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a little side note. Sorry, bro.
So on top of that, the Voyager probe passed by each planet. I've
Yeah.
actually meditated to the Saturn one that I heard.
Yeah, I would.
Pluto. I mean,
Andromeda all the
I
way,
was
baby.
so curious about what it had recorded. And it's just funny that you say that you get this vision that it makes total sense to me that
Yeah.
each one of these planets,
That's what I was shown.
and many others that are unknown, okay, play a significant role in our body harmonics, our intuition, our ability to communicate.
Yeah, but that's the angelic harp, dude.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. It's a song, and it brings me back to what the Brahmin say. The Nada Brahma. Nada Brahma means the universe is a song.
Yes.
You know, and you just see
Solomon's
that. You
dance.
just see it's like we're just doing the dance.
Yeah, we're doing the dance, man. The song. So, okay. So anyway, now that, right? Divine timing. Okay. We have that piece. Then the next piece that I was shown, and I'm probably going to get like people mad at me for this, but whatever. There's not many that actually channel the higher interstellar codes right now. There are going to be that do very soon because it's an entire embodiment difference of energy. Okay. When somebody, personally me, I have channeled interstellar 3 times in my last 6 years. Now, ascended master, archangel, ancestor, all day, every day. Okay. But interstellar, completely different vibration. People are not out of their ego enough, because when you get into that complete state of transcendence, it electrifies your body to a state. I've had to get up from the table, bro, and you've seen those things. There's no ET, no phone home. There's nobody home. It's just the body, right? And it's just straight channeling. The one time that I can remember that it was so soft in vibration, it was downstairs in the studio, and it was such a soft form and vibration that you could hear, but nobody else could hear what that really truly was. And I remember that vibration because when I come back to, it takes me a minute to get grounded back in my body and cognizance and awareness and the shift of the energy. Now, at first, it used to really hit my body, and my body energetically was messed up for days. So they started to slowly back off and do it in different ways. And so that now is where we've worked in tandem here in body, because when I've worked with my chief before, there's this half embodiment that I'll allow that to be and get halfway in transcendence. But when I embody interstellar energy, it's a full body electromagnetic, okay, frequency that there's no ET phone home. That's all I can say. Now, the reason I was questioning this in my own experience is because I wanted to know. Now, the reason I wanted to know is because the way they showed me the things in the timelines this way, and then when you break through that timeline, because your mind has had a breakthrough, your emotions have had a breakthrough, your spirit body has had a breakthrough, right? You then go up the ladder, and then you've got the other dimensional timelines, and then you go through and you go up the ladder, right? So the way that they showed me that, then they were all dimensions, right? Higher dimensions, right?
Mhm.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They allowed me to see all the way up to, the 12th is where they let me see. So, and I'm smarter to know that there's more than 12.
Yeah.
But long story short, I was able to see up to 12. So in that essence, then what they showed me is that people don't understand that when they're channeling that type of energy, they're channeling themselves
Yeah.
from that dimensional plane
Yeah.
of existence that they can reach,
That
right?
is aligned with that vibration.
Correct. So some people are channeling themselves from 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th dimension,
Mhm.
but they think it's something else. They think it's interstellar. And it's not. It's the active vibration of them in that form, in that dimension. That's why they can reach other dimensional bodies of existence on that plane to communicate with or vibrate with, because it's all about frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so if you're not attuned to the right frequency, those dimensional planes will not be met by your light body. Right? So I'm not saying that people don't channel interstellar beings, but what I am saying is that it is a completely different embodiment in frequency and what they're showing me. So in the dimensional plane, most people are channeling that dimensional plane of themselves in existence,
Yeah.
not something outside of themselves. It's truly themselves. Sorry.
No, I totally get it. I was just,
What's the best way I can explain that
yeah.
in that form?
So, but it's funny because when I noticed as things evolved and I became more clear about things, I noticed that certain some channelers, you were wondering where the information or the source of information was coming from, because the way their access, their channel was that wound that opened,
Yeah.
that trauma.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm picking up that these people are channeling through their trauma, and they're being able to contact other selves that are similar or like vibration,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we engage in the practice of healing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Through these
Correct.
clicks, picks, whatever, waving our hands, nuts, I don't know, just so many ways. I'm a little baffled by it, because I'm like, okay, where you're doing this for the greatest and highest good, but I've noticed that people like that, those that I've experienced, they don't go anywhere. They don't evolve. They don't ascend. They don't really change.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
The
whoa,
vibration remains the same. Is that what you're saying? Within themselves, or
yes.
the energy that they're channeling?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing remains. The same energy, the same chi, the same vibration or lack thereof vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, because there's doubt, there's hesitation there, there's question about their own vibration and being separate from.
I get it.
And some of them think that there's a piece of the embodiment that I understand after the training and after the trenches and after all those things that I've been through the divine essence of source and vibration and understanding, and being able to be a voice in many different spaces and places. But there's such a difference in vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When it is source energy versus interstellar versus
Well, I'm gonna be
energy.
honest with you. I used to channel ego, basically. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what
Because
I'm-
I didn't realize, what I was doing till, of course, a couple of years ago. That I was channeling from an ego space. I mean, I was doing it with the greatest intent, though.
Of
You know
course
what
you
I'm
were.
saying? Heart open
But
intent
this is where people
to help
don't.
people.
But this is the point that people don't realize when they're doing that, they're actually healing themselves.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Yeah.
that whole aspect there. But that's that at the sense of an essence, right, is the same vibration of then the soul grows in elevation and you're no longer doing that thing in the
Mhm.
same vibration,
Mhm.
right? And remember that on a lower level vibration, I'm going to call it demonic energy, right? But all I'm talking about is a lower level form of vibration of energy.
Yeah, which means it's a lot trickier. The energy is a lot trickier than we actually know.
No, it replicates things. So
Yeah.
demonic vibration, okay, cannot create, it only replicates, right? So if people are replicating things, it's because it's
Well,
in a
damn.
sense,
Well, that kind of like puts the other thing in perspective as well.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So basically, what we're channeling is malevolent energy somehow.
correct.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing that I do know: when I was going through, when I was being trained by the divine to be a prophetess of the divine, to be a voice, I was put through many different trials of tests, and one of that was learning to hear the only voice that was left.
That was
Okay.
yeah,
All right,
buddy.
the entrainment, right? The
Yeah.
entrainment of being a voice, because it's not you, it it has nothing to do with you. It only has to do with being the message. You're not even the messenger, you are the message. You carry the vibration in the fullest existence of form. You are the message. And what you do here is you consecrate things for people. You remove strongholds. You can see between the tick and the talk. You can get them from point A to point B. You don't just tell them what they're up against. You just don't tell them, oh, this is your past and how you got it. And oh, this is your present. And oh, in the future, I see this. Well, how the hell do I get there?
Oh.
Okay. So when you receive information from a prophet or a prophetess, the voice of validation through divine wisdom, divine education, divine turbulence, divine vibration, the knowledge, the wisdom, the experience as a whole is the access of information that not only concedes that vibration but removes the stronghold in energy, clears the energy, and helps the person get from point A to point B. This is how you minister people. You don't just tell them where they're at and drop them
Yeah.
on their butt. You
I
don't
agree.
just do a healing and drop them and say, "Oh, see you later." No, this is why we have follow-ups in our
This,
profession, bro.
yeah, we you
Okay,
know
we
don't.
don't just do healings and do room restorations and trauma healing and stuff and go, "All right, we spent an hour and a half together. See you later. Bye."
Yeah, we're not trying to create repeating customers in that way.
No, what we do is we make sure that the neural pathways, the cells, the
Are
vibration,
clear.
the emotional state is clear and the
Uh-huh.
awareness is reckoned, and whatever needs to be done is done. And then in 3 days later, we meet up, we talk again, we have some fun. We make sure that everything is done for you to move into that new frequency, that new energy of embodiment, right? And so, like I said, you can't have one without the other. And so people are yearning for this craving of understanding the vibration within themselves and how to get from point A to point B. Like, it's a masquerade right now out there, bro.
Uh-huh.
It's a masquerade, okay? And it's like a whole bunch of fish and a whole bunch of crabs in the bucket trying to grab at something in existence, but they've even lost touch with what that very existence is, because they don't even have their own sovereignty of their spiritual identity intact with the great one,
Uh-huh.
because they lack in vibration, because the ego and the pride is telling them that they have it, but they lack the source inside, because they still see and feel themselves separate from.
That's a tremendous longing that a lot of people are just fucking manipulated into not being able to fucking feel that.
Hey, Chrissy, good to see you.
Because in the feeling is the teaching, and the feeling is the truth. If you know how to look for it.
Exactly, in vibration.
Because everything is a frequency. Your feeling is a frequency, and the frequency is multi-layered. It has information.
But here's the other part,
Mm-hmm.
okay, to prophecy that people don't understand.
Oh boy.
Okay?
Yeah.
The point in the very existence of being the embodiment of in vibration is that it comes with a freeing of vibration, but it also comes with the burden because it comes with a whole ton of secret information.
Which is, I don't give a fuck. It's a beautiful responsibility. Thank you very much.
It is a beautiful
Yeah, it's a
responsibility.
pain in the ass knowing shit that you can't say nothing about, and I totally agree with you in that space.
Yeah.
But
Well, here's the point.
there's such a comfort in it, though.
There's a peace in that vibration because that's the intercession.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the intercession of the message so that you understand the message not only in word frequency, but in a vibration that brings confirmation, peace, validation, and alignment and truth. Okay, so here's what I call that, right? Because I receive bits and pieces of things from the divine, right? When I'm in prophecy, like I receive bits and pieces, right? It's not all one thing. It's not supposed to be that way. It's not that way. And when I'm in prophecy, I'll receive a piece of information. I know I don't have all the information because I can feel the piece in my physical vibration missing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then I also know that there's question there, right? So if there's question, it's not of God,
Yeah.
right? But that piece is saved for something later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then there's another piece that's given to me, let's say a day later, maybe hours later. I don't know. Just when it's the divine timing of the least path of resistance for the frequency to meet my vibration in existence to get that message to me. That's how the labyrinth works there, guys. And so in that existence, then I receive the next piece in form. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now that piece comes with straight truth, straight confirmation, straight validation. There's no hesitation. Then I sit in my little beautiful God's phone booth that you built me. This man, I swear. And I sit there and then I ask, what is this for? Is this for me to release, or is this for me to hold on to for a piece of, this, that, or the other? And then I'll sit on that for another 24 hours before I receive my confirmation. And then the message comes in peace. Like I had our good friend contact me yesterday, and she said, "Hey, da 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 is occurring." She said, "Can you please do me a favor? What is your feeling? What is your perception on this?" And I said, "I will not give you my feeling. I will not give you my perception, because right away my perception is miscued, because I'm telling you right now it's coming with ego. You're going to have to give me some time. Okay? You're going to
Let
have
me
to give me
sit with
some
it for a
time.
second.
You're going to have to give me some time to sit on this. And the reason I need time to sit on this is because I already feel a certain type of way about situations like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in order for me to do what I need to do for you, I have to move out of the way. And right now, I'm not moving out of the way, so I can't come to any validation or conclusion for you, right?"
Mm-hmm.
So then, of course, as I shut my mouth and I start to move myself out of the way, all right, there's a vibration of
Yeah, the
information that I'm
whoosh of
able
clarity,
to
because now
right?
you've allowed the information to become present.
Correct.
And then here we are having a conversation about this doesn't feel right,
Yes.
or maybe you should look at the facts,
Yeah, X and Y, right?
Yeah.
Before you come to Z. So anyway, that was said, but I also said I need time. This is not my final answer because I have not sat and received full information, full peace, full clarity, right?
Yeah, it had to come in steps.
Had to come in steps, right?
Yeah.
So then today, all right, I'm on the phone with one of our colleagues, and all of a sudden I'm like, I gotta go now. And she's like, okay. And sometimes this happens because she just knows I get called into action, right? And all of a sudden I pick up the phone and I'm like, hey. And she goes, oh my God, I just thought about you 5 minutes ago. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you did. Anyway, you ready for your information? And she
It's
goes,
all
yeah.
connected.
She goes, yeah, what you got? And I go, and she goes, that, okay. She goes, that's not exactly what I picked up, but that's how I truly felt. And she goes, that just came to you out of nowhere? And I was like, yeah, that just came to me on the phone out of nowhere while I was completely somewhere else. And I said I had to deliver the message right then because I got the last form of confirmation, communication, and vibration at that very essence, at that very moment.
I fully understand that. Just like this morning when I was like, hey, you need to, have you ever had a pedicure? You know what I'm saying?
That's
Just
great.
talking to the client, have you ever had a pedicure?
Yeah.
Because I was like, bro, his natties are blocked. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
I'm like,
he's-
but he's a Taurus.
Yeah.
Oh, his feet, dude. You gotta go
man.
take, because I was wondering where that indigestion was coming from.
He can't expel it in
And
his vibration
yeah.
and X calibration. Yeah,
Yeah.
he can't do it.
So I didn't receive all the information until the next day.
Yeah.
You know, in the morning, and then it all came together. Wah! And I was
Yeah.
like, yo, this is what we need to do next. All right, I got you. We got you. Okay. I've been taught well. Yeah.
I've been taught well. And that's the beautification process, is that also you know when to be silent. You know when to go. Most of the time you're silent. You're not go.
No.
Most of the time you're silent until you get that bam, that urge, that push, that it's not a pull, it's like it's a push and pull simultaneously. Because when it's time for me to show up and like go on live and do work for people, right, and do work for the divine, I literally sit there and it's a pull this way, but it's also a push on my back, like at the same time. And I'm like, I don't know who's worse, the collective or the divine. Wait a minute, there's no separation. Shit, okay, I gotta go, because it's like I'm getting pulled from the front and pushed from the back from the collective. And I'm like, okay, thanks, divine. Here we go. And then that's sometimes when I show up and I'm like, listen, I have no clue why I'm here just yet, but we'll figure that out together. And then the existence of what it is and what it needs to be is right there. And it always comes for validation at its peak of its very fine essence, you know, for people in many different forms. So
yeah,
I just needed to help people understand the level of awareness that's been, you know, scorned in vibration with invalid information.
Say that again, please.
I can't. You know damn well that 9 times out of 10, everything that comes out of my mouth is not of me in vibration.
Damn it.
I'm telling you.
All I heard was invalidation.
That's all I know, is that it's information that's been scorned, that lacks validation. Oh my God, this goes back to the channeling. Holy shit, here we go. Here we go. This is what they just showed me in front of my face, bro. Oh my God. And it's the very last part. Oh, man, this is dope. It's here. Oh, this is so dope. If I read this to everybody, they would totally just jump right now. Okay, I'm not going to read all 5 of the channelings. It's only the last piece that was received in January 2025.
Okay.
To the depths of what comes next. To the depths of what comes next. The depths of your soul are so very old, it's wrapped in gold. Behold the stories that were left untold. All is about to unfold. This is something you've been told. Your heart is so very bold. Don't believe all you've been sold and told. Nothing more can be bought, borrowed, sold, and left untold. These are the stories of gold about to unfold that have never been borrowed, bought, sold, or told. This is a prophecy so very, very old, and it all starts with the
gold. Yeah. That's what I wanted to say the other day to my mom. It's like, dude, you're a currency.
Yeah.
The gold is you.
The gold is you.
The
yes.
gold is you. The gold is not the gold. The gold
point.
is you.
The gold is you. That's the whole point. And so I love it when Spirit speaks, because they always speak in parables, and everything that is delivered through me is always delivered in parables. And that last message that I spoke, that's on video, that's the last video that's up, there's so many parables in that vibration, it's not even funny. Yeshua spoke in parables. When I received the messages from the divine, it's all coming in line, it's all in parables. A lot of you have never heard the prophecy of what I'm being told that was written through me in 5 different parts. I don't know, there's a lot of people I think here that are new, Jay, that haven't, you know, come across our pathways before. So it's like I've got this, as you saw, like I got this pull to like read it. And there's people that, you know, have heard it 1,000,001 times, and I don't I don't take negatively to anybody that has heard it a million and one times and wants to exit the room by any means whatsoever. But I never get tired of hearing it, and I never get tired of receiving it, because there's always something new that vibrates and clicks on a
Yeah,
different level, in a
but
different
it's
way.
meant to be that way because you're
Yeah.
no longer in the same fucking timeline anyway.
No.
You're no longer in the place that you were, because every time you read that message is because it's toodles.
Oh, for sure.
It's like, okay, I'm jumping by.
I'm jumping by. And
Next.
that's one thing that we had to figure out too,
Yeah.
is that literally in that vibration, when I read this, it's because things were about to change.
Yep.
You know, things were
Every
about to
time
change.
but it was a month-long process
Yeah.
to literally pick up on what that was activating. It was like being of service to people before. It's kind of like the last hurrahs, where before you get to the hallway, in a sense, or for the
Yeah.
people in the hallway, it's that last chance. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And then boom, there's an activation, and then you realize that you're on another plane.
Yeah. And the most of them came out in 2023 and then 2024. So two of them were received in 2023, two of them were received in 2024, and then the last one received in January of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny because they gave me last first and first last. And that's usually how prophecies in spirit works as well, is they always give you last first and first last. So here we go. The seed of creation, or did you forget? In the beginning it was us and we were it. You wanted to experience it. Time and space is what took place for many different frequencies that allowed it to be, brought on by many different creeds and beings that became the seed, which then became the word to be. The Divine Mother planted the seed of creation. Your Mother Earth that I created was never meant to be a way station. Now, there will be things that I stop and break down along this experience to help you so your mind doesn't explode, okay? Or you don't get wigged out and bugged out. You were born to create. You were born to have fun. You were born from the light. That's where it began. The sands of time have clogged your mind. Frequency turned to words and left your voice unheard. You forgot all that you learned when you emerged. Time and space is what took place. You were never meant to be erased in this densely lit place. You came to your senses with divine comprehension. You reinforced your prism. Clearing out the masses, you finally chose to take off your rose-colored glasses. Your mind raced as your heart stood still, not knowing then what would take place. Red pill, blue pill, no choice at all. Waiting for time and space to fall, wondering if and when you would hear the call. Come the one and come the all, as your mother's voice stood tall. You knew the answer, you heard your call. The spark, the fire, the flame, call it what you want, your words are all the same. The masters and the spirits already know your name. It's an imprint through all time and space. Do you even know from which dimension you came? How come you don't even know or remember your truest of name? The one the Creator gave you when it birthed you in all of your light with all of its sight. Time stood still the day you were born. You came out perfect. You were never meant to be torn. You were made to believe what your human eyes could perceive. Don't you see the light I gave you is inside of me? Make no mistake, oh my, how you've grown. It shows in your smile, a newfound home. The tides have turned, oh what a mess. What did you think I was not in distress? Did you think I would forget? My children come from wide and far, uniting of their tongues will soon roar. The trumpets will sound to be silenced no more, in perfect peace and harmony once more. No longer can you claim my land, you see. It was never yours to begin with, it's what you made it out to be. Oh, how you have disrespected the one you call God, who is truest in nature. I sent my son in physical form to represent me, the eternal flame, the divine creator. He had natural abilities to be the protector and fulfill the divine prophecy to complete the sacred sectors of geometry. He did exactly what I asked of thee, but you personified him, persecuted him, turned him into a sacrifice because you were scared of thee. But this time I made the order taller, that he comes back a she, all in divine order, you'll see. A gift to my children, a peaceful presence will return. Justice for all was my bond and my word. The Creator has watched all that you've done. Did you think you would get away with your fun? Torture, slavery, and greed from day one. Don't worry, your judgment day will come. You've taken way more than what you need. This will no longer be a place of greed, no matter what race, lineage, or creed. My children have come to unite, you see. Under my grace, you took from every age, race, and gender people suffering while you danced in the splendor. Not thinking that my children of the light would catch on to your demise. Divide and conquer was your prize. The war you made was on their minds, only to trap their souls as your prize. There is one you cannot trick, the creator, the all, the infinity. Can't you see the tables have turned? You better run quickly. You made my children forget the prophecy through your words you used as frequency, your lies and unspoken truths you hid from thee. But you forgot the Creator can see every nook, every cranny, and every thought to be, for it wrote the divine prophecy of eternity. My children have come to unite, you see, near and far. I put out a grand call for a great awakening. Come the one and come the all. My heart beat that grounds their feet, my lands, my rivers, my plants and trees. What a sweet treat, but they have forgotten what connects them all to me and you. A dream some think that won't come true, far-fetched they think, but that's the key. Divine intervention no one can see, but the truest of eyes and hearts that beat. We returned the call, we knew the answer. The 144 was the answer. From every race, lineage, color, and creed, for they remember the code to beat. They have walked this path since the beginning of humanity. I hid them this time near and far. For every 1,000,000 there's only three. I was way smarter than you could believe. We also gathered those that carry the feather and the rose to be. They come from faraway places, of many backgrounds, colors, and races, not from these familiar places. They are here to spark the masses and to create a higher expansion, and this is what you call rapid ascension. Now they're asking me to go back because I don't want people's panties to get twisted, won't you? All right, and they don't want to either. And they want me to break a couple things down for you before I move on. So when it talks about he will come back as she, all in divine order, you'll see. It's talking about the divine essence of feminine creation.
The divine feminine.
The divine feminine.
Because it's within us all.
Correct. And it's not one person.
Mm-hmm.
There is not one feminine. There is not one female. It's the divine essence of creation itself coming back into formulation.
Yeah, you can't have the matriarch and you can't have the patriarch without the matriarch.
Not at all.
It has to balance themselves out.
110%. The next time down here that it talks about the 144, okay? It's talking about a frequency. All right, we returned the call. We knew the answer. The answer was 144 from every lineage, race, dimension, and creed. Every race, dimension, lineage, and creed. So everyone has the same opportunity to rise to that frequency of divinity. It is a frequency in which they're talking about. Now, at that point in time, when it talks about we also gathered those that carry the feather and rose to be, they come from faraway places, with many background colors and races, not from these familiar places. They're talking about the ones that carry the feathers, right? Like the imprints of the ascended masters, the interstellar beings. It's the higher frequency, us of existence, right? It's us in the existence that are reawakening to the interstellar frequencies, the soul family, the places, and this is why we have. This is why they want me to say it this way, and this is not okay, but I just have to say it this way. That's why there's so many half-breeds, because it wasn't just one race of Anunnaki. It was broken down into many different parallels of existence between the body,
we talked about this. There's multiple. There were at least more than 13 races here.
Yeah, and we're just
at some point.
We're just a product of that, and so there's multi-dimensional generational karma that we've had to undo too. So when they talk about the codes of the rose, they're talking about the Mary Magdalene codes, the Magna. Now, people don't understand the Magna asteroid has something to do in astrology in your chart. So if you guys haven't paid attention to the Magna codes, the Magna is a comet. It is an asteroid. It's an asteroid that comes through. And so anyway, that Magdala sparks things inside of your own, existence, inside your own blueprint. So the rose are the Mary Magdalene codes, the essence of the divine feminine, the temples, the Isis, the codes, okay? Now, I can go on, okay? I just had to break that down for people, okay? Because I don't want to confuse people right now by any means of existence.
I don't think anyone. I think you're speaking clearly here.
All right, cool. Here we go. We're going to move on to the last part. The last part here is inner earth and outer earth. Inner earth and outer earth are about to merge. This will no longer leave your voice unheard. You found peace in the silence, left behind so much violence, only to become vulnerable once more that left you on your knees in front of my door. Voices churned as your emotions burned, trying to find peace in the silence once more. Excuse me. Thank you. Tender pieces finally put together in one frame, not from disdain, but because you finally remembered your name from which you came. The demons in your brain from which you came, you had to learn to refrain until nothing but my voice remained. You had to learn that the spirits of disdain already knew your name as you came to complete your destiny once more. Turning the pages, you learned from the sages how to find peace in the silence, moving away from the spiritual violence. Your life you knew was never going to be a bore. The energies of the enemies knew when you were born. This is the meticulous beginning of our sequel. You had to learn that you were not all created equal. Your frequency and light were that of mine. This I had to teach you in due time. And soon you would learn that everything would work out fine. Trusting the process puts you humans in such distress. Time is not equal. That's why this is the beginning of the second sequel. You are my people. The spaces in the in between is where you had to sew up the seams so your light cannot be seen. You have come so far from who you are to what you are. This is the most growth I've seen thus far. You had to come back home to me and no longer flee from what was inside of you and me. I am your equal. Oh, thank you. I created the heavens and the earth and all the planets that reside. Put your differences aside and come alive. Everyone transitions, which is what you call death, but not everybody lives and know what it's like to give. Give to the one that gave to you. I reside in each and every one of you. The merging of the two, the inner you, the outer you call that your higher self, a thing to be true. The inner earth and outer earth, the heavens and the earth will merge once more. This cycle will no longer be born. It was all part of the perfect storm and process in which you forget. Don't worry, it's nowhere near over yet. There is plenty of time to reflect and process all that you are, and once your knees hit the floor, you'll remember once more. It's true, I created the heavens and the earth with the help of your birth. And then to the depths of what comes next. And we already spoke about that. You are the gold. It's the liquid golden sunshine. You are the liquid golden sunshine.
Yep.
You're the divine essence of the creator in physical
Mhm.
existence. There's no separation, there's no difference.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So understanding that, of course, when you obtain and you come into higher frequency, of course your reality is going to change because it's the divine code of the essence of the breath being told what it is that you are in existence to come back into alignment with itself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we get the stupid puzzle pieces. Woohoo!
You got puzzle pieces. I love
Yeah, I
puzzle
got.
pieces. So it's the very essence of the God particle itself coming back into existence of what it is in the very essence of physical vibration and spiritual vibration and heightened sensation as we go through these big energetic shifts and transitions.
You know, if this really a deep dive, when it comes to that, when it comes to the particle formation or the Big Bang, in Genesis, and understanding that that was the beginning of when nothing became conscious of itself and became something.
Correct.
You know, it's kind of like a life story if you want to, and then you realize that from a singularity, from a single cell in a sense, we have become so much more.
Well, that's the whole point, and that's how the story of Isis was birthed into creation because it wanted to know itself.
Mm-hmm.
So then it sparked that formulation of molecules, particles. The word is the frequency, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the very breath, the very word of that frequency was put together in essence that formulated itself in physical vibration to experience itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the very explanation of consciousness.
Yes.
You know, um, people can call it enlightened ones and stuff like that. You know, I think it's when you realize how important that is,
Mm-hmm.
and how fundamental it is for your life to have a universal principle and a universal understanding of things. It's like, wait a minute, it causes you to question a lot of the belief systems or your own belief systems of yourself and everything else, because it's like you know, it's experiencing in that moment that when you finally realize that you are the you in universe.
Very well
You
said.
know,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what sums it up right there.
Yeah, most definitely.
That it's when you have that to realize that it's like, yeah, dude, the universe is talking to you because it knows you, because it is you. And this is why you have spirit communication in the first place. It is you. But it might be another version of you that you're not familiar with because there's many of you.
Right.
You have to think in, let me tell people this all the time. Sometimes it comes along as we or us, because it's not just two or three talking to you at the same time. It's a collective that comes together to communicate. and then you realize that you're part of that collective and you're connected to all of those pieces of yourself in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Which is a
Doesn't
beautiful realization. Don't get me wrong.
Look, no, I have a
But
puzzle
you're
piece.
actually
That's so cool.
communicating on multiple levels of yourself because everything only exists now. Okay.
Yeah.
And past and future is something that only exists in the mind.
Yeah, because in here we just need to formulate. Here we need to formulate time. Hello, Bumblebee. Here it's about time, right? That's the whole
Mm-hmm.
reason is
Yeah.
because it's an essence of the very existence of the way that we've been programmed.
Yeah. That's beautiful about us. We're on spirit time. What does that mean? When spirit says, get up.
You
Okay.
Man, the way that my life is when I allowed it to just be run naturally on spirit time. Like a lot of people call it different things in different vibrations of communication, right?
Uh-huh.
They're very racist things. You can come up with your own determination
I
on
just
those
call it the
things,
circadian rhythm, the
right?
natural rhythm of when the
Well,
fuck I'm supposed to wake up.
I always call it spirit time, and it's always been spirit time to me. And I'm like, yo, you don't understand. I run on spirit time, and I've said that for so long in my life because it's true in the vibration. You know how many times we leave or we go to do a job or we go meet somebody or do something we need to do, and bro, it's like, dude, we just left at 1:11.
Uh-huh.
Nuh-uh, shut up. And I'll be like, bro, look, we just got back and it's 3:33.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Uh-huh.
and it's
Yeah, we get all of our
yeah,
confirmations all the
and
time.
I'll be like, bro, we just arrived and it's
Uh-huh.
1:55.
Yeah,
You know
look
what
at
I'm
that.
saying? It's just all in divine alignment,
Uh-huh.
and you never know why something's getting hung up. You never know why something's getting pushed through. You just
Mm-hmm.
know that to be in the flow of the divine essence.
Yep.
The reason people don't understand time, okay, is because in the spirit world of vibration, time of course doesn't exist, right?
No.
Now here it's not existing more and more, and it's very evident and clear by people jumping out of that time frame of the 9 to 5 and the matrix and so on and so forth, right? But the way that it is, it's the least path of resistance, right? So there's a lot of people that pass or cross, and family wants to hear from them, and or there's a message from spirit that they're waiting to receive, and they're like, why did it take so long? Why did this take so long for this to happen? Why did it take so long for this to get? Well, you have to understand that in spirit time it's just a breath. There's no time at all,
It's always on
and
time.
it's always on time. And what I mean by that too is that spirit is looking at everything, and they're looking down upon the essence of everything that's happening in your vibration, that's happening in your life, that's going on at that time. And they're like, oh nope, can't get the message through there because she ran into a roadblock. Oh, she's not going to hear me now because she's in emotional distress. Oh nope, she's off partying her ass off. She ain't going to hear us now.
And she's
Oh
distracted.
nope, she's distracted. Invite. Nope, not going to
Yep.
hear us now. Oh nope, Tommy didn't call her, so now she's pissed off.
And,
Oh no, her friend's on the phone, just in gossip. Gotta
uh,
go. And so therefore, spirit has to get the vibration through at the least path of resistance. It's frequency. So when you are able to come into alignment, this is one of the favorite things that I taught you in the very beginning of that vibration of that space, and I teach it to a lot of mentees, is how to turn on that frequency, how to get used to actually turning it on, tuning it in vibration, right? And actualizing that energy. And so then you can't hear a thing if you're not paying attention. And so you're like, why didn't I receive the message? Well, you didn't go back to the last instruction, which was given, which was breathe, be quiet, do something mindless, do something in singular focus, do meditation,
you
and
didn't
you
take
will
a break
receive.
when the divine told you to take a break. So here we are.
Yeah, and
we are full circle once again.
Yeah,
and we will do it again.
And we will do it again
Until you find another way to do it.
Do it. Yes. What's going on, Anna? Yeah. Hey, Tanya. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And so and this is the conscious awareness of where they're like, we got to it's got to meet right at the right time. That's why we say divine timing and spirit time. It's because it's the least path of resistance for that thing to happen and for you to be received, right? So
911.
It's 911.
There we
It's
go.
the arrow, right? So think of it like this, right? So you shoot an arrow, you shoot a manifestation, right? Into that universal vibration. Okay. The universal vibration, thank you. I love your love. The universal vibration then is where that is trying to then be received by you. But guess what? The send back of the arrow has to get through this person, has to get through that person, has to get through that psychic attack, has to get through that monitoring spirit, has to get through that declassification, you know what I'm saying, vibration, just to get the arrow back to you. So the more that you are energetically clear, the more that you stay clear of gossip, of bullshit, of things that feel off to you in vibration, of things that just don't give you that God-centered, peaceful vibration, are the things that you've had to understand to leave behind within your own programming of the mind, is what was just said.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those things are not for nothing, and you won't understand that it's like it really is the divine's glory. And what I
Mm-hmm.
mean by that is you will be at certain points in time in your journey, and you will get to receive information and validation as to exactly why you went through that. But until you can come at it with no ego, no emotion, no attachment, will you receive the message of where the red flag was missed by you in that communication.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to understand why later. You're always going to know why later. And nothing that you do, nothing that you're taught through any experience of your soul's level of growth, through the journey that you're going through, is for nothing. Because everything, it's stacking Legos. It's a Lego. It's a Lego. It's a Lego. And it's going to be like this piece that you need here, that you pick up and use here, that are good essences of vibrations, of skill sets, of mindsets, of new ways, of new tactics, because those are the things that vibrate in a higher consciousness way that you can use to elevate in that time phrase or that point in time.
That's true, because it's all there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in any given moment where one exists, so does the latter. It's the law of duality,
Which will
you
feed and
know,
feed.
which allows us to enhance our perception or our perspective of what it is that we're dealing with, so it can't be all that fucking bad. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
But we as a society, we need to reprogram and retrain ourselves to understand that this is a giving situation, and we are being given something in this moment: clarity, wisdom, revelation, peace. You know what I'm saying? To engage in whatever we can without, becoming a fucking hot shit mess, and do this in so much more of a somber way and a smoother way. And instead of like kind of like, having to not engage in acceptance and not being able to surrender to these things, because when you trust in it, when you flow with these things, it's so much more smooth. There's no, there's compromise every once in a while, but you don't really have to compromise unless it's something that's actually working for you. Trusting in that divine timing of everything has been something that, even in my experiences now, it's nothing less than profound, because it's like a smile from the universe back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Wink.
Like you, it's a little wink, letting you know that you are loved, you're appreciated, and you are seen.
Right.
By something that you cannot, something that is the unseen, right?
Yeah.
This is why we have these numbers. Where do you think it comes from? You know what I'm saying? These type of confirmations that we have comes from a source like no other.
This is the man that just said to me a little bit ago, I'm so tired of the palindrome numbers with you. I just want you to know that, folks. Okay? Like, I just am laughing on the inside, because at that moment, I'm like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay? Yes, I'm sick of the palindrome numbers too. I know exactly what's going on here. I know exactly why they're present. I know exactly what they mean. I know exactly all of that. And here you are, stating the very fact of essence of why I am always talking about numbers, because it's all codes. And I'm telling you, you're like, the universe responds and the universe talks to you in numbers and da 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 da. And I'm like, says the man who just looked at me because I called out a palindrome number before we came on tonight, and goes, oh my God, I'm so sick of this in the palindrome numbers with you. And I'm like, you can be sick of it all you want to, but until it stops, I'm going to call every single one of them out. Every single one of them. Because I know exactly what it's about. And I know exactly what I'm doing when I'm calling them out. It's my own little secret, little alchemy thing.
The universe likes to play.
I play with the universe well. I told you, I have been doing this backwards since the day I was
Spirit
born.
is play, by the way, fam. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't know, now you know. Spirit is also you. So have fun.
Doing it backwards has been the very existence of me understanding how things work. Because I was always that kid that would do things backwards. The maze backwards. Everything was backwards. I'm very surprised I did not read backwards. I'm dead serious, and I'm surprised I wasn't dyslexic because everything was backwards, right? And so for me, that's how I was able to understand and start and decode and work with the very essence of the vibration of synchronization and the essence of God particles and alchemy and energy and understanding what that is and how that works within my own body, which is the understanding of all the other things outside of myself. Because if I can understand me, then I can understand everything outside of myself in vibration, because the vibration of the frequency outside of me is going to be decoded within my light body, within my vision, within my precision of the divine message coming through of what it is.
Mm-hmm. I had something. I was loaded, and then blankness.
The blanket.
The blankness.
We were talking just about numbers and frequency and divine communication and essence and vibration and the higher state of consciousness in the numbers and how the universe speaks and decoding these things, because it's not just talking for no reason.
Yeah, each one represents an energy as well. Not only does it represent a frequency, but it represents an energy that's associated with the frequency that allows you to have a better understanding of yourself and what you're being shown by the universe itself, dude, because it's basically what keeps everything here together. And it's funny because there have been even studies that you could see the Fibonacci, you could see the spiral and everything in all God's creatures, in a sense. Even the little remolino in the back, where we have the universe basically tattoos everything somehow. Look, because it's basically made from itself, so it always leaves an imprint.
919.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
I just needed to call that out. I'm just saying. I did it out of spite this time, though. Just
no, that's fine. We're the universe is giving us what we want because we're asking for it right now. Come on.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying.
We know that when it's time to go back to the office, in a sense, that these things will go ahead and flip. But right now, I feel like we're being a little bit sassed. But by a conscious being that just enjoys the fact that we acknowledge the fact that it exists, because it's basically a mirror. We're staring at another piece of ourselves.
Correct. In vibration.
And the universe is fascinated by that, by the way. Get involved, fam. Get involved. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's and the understanding of self. That's why they always said, understand thyself and know thyself. And when you can understand and decode yourself and understand your blueprints and the very essence of your existence and what you are and where you come from, then it's way deeper than ancestry. It's a multi-dimensional, interstellar, and dimensional.
It's a universal understanding of yourself, because there's many levels to it. You know what I'm saying? You're not just one thing, you're everything.
Everything.
And again, when you practice this in your daily practice, utilize this spiritual understanding, it changes you to have a more open, higher perspective of things, where you're no longer being controlled or manipulated in a sense to believe something that wasn't real in the first place, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just a beautiful feeling to know that you have that ability and that you have a very giving organism that you cannot explain, that is invisible, but literally you breathe it in every day, you know, to give you an example, you know. And of course, gratitude is always something that is beautiful. It's about that recognition that you see yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you see you like no other. And that is a beautiful way, you know, without delusion, to understand the things that are happening right now, to understand navigation, spiritual communication, how all this works, you know, and be alive here in the now instead of trying to grasp the present one way or another, you know?
Mm-hmm. That was funny. When you say grasp the present, that was hilarious to me because it was just totally spirit speaking in two different dimensional forms and what they showed me. And you say grasp the present, like trying to understand the present, right?
Uh-huh.
But then spirit also showed me another meaning behind that they
Uh-huh.
mean. And when you said grasp the present, it's because everybody wants their manifestation,
Yeah,
and
they're
it's their
trying to grab
present.
it.
They want their present. They
Yeah.
want what they want when they want it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so they're trying to grasp their present ahead of time, you know, ahead of the divine. And that's when it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea
No,
to do
no,
that.
no, because you know, it could be looked at from the perspective that there's a bunch of errant children
Right.
running around in the daycare and it's on fire. You know, we got to do something.
It's like you know what they just showed me, bro?
What?
Baby's kids.
No, we don't die, we
Multiply.
multiply.
They just showed me baby's kids all over the place. Like a whole bunch of Dennis and menaces running around having a good old time. A grand time.
Oh man, I heard King Julian and I heard, look, it's the bunch of pansies.
And this is where I have nothing.
No, you can't, dude, because Spirit does this shit to me all the time, dude. And they know they love jokes. They love jokes. They like to have fun. They're insanely humorous, even with the truth, and sarcastic as shit sometimes.
Fair
Because
enough.
the truth is so matter of fact that it's like, well, no,
It's funny.
it's this.
Yeah.
Dummy.
It's that simple. Like when I understood the clear channel and I understand who really has that I have been working with for a long time, and in that energy was just like, you know, oh, finally, you finally get it.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
finally
Yeah. No,
understand.
one of my favorites is, well, it's about time.
It's about time. It's always that. It's about time. I'm like, oh, bro, you did not
You
just
feel like
energy.
you were wearing the dunce cap in the corner, dog, at fucking
Always.
school.
It's like you're the last to know, right? You're the last to find out.
There's always that ancestral asshole.
There's always one. There's always one that has to just say something, just
Gotta
so
be
sly,
slick.
right? That
Yeah.
just keeps you humble, man. Just keeps you real humble.
Keeps your ass in check.
Yep, you know it.
Little boot.
Yeah, you know it, man. Well, it's about time. And I'm like, well, it's about time you let me know, because you're the ones that don't let me know nothing anymore because I know too much.
Yeah, and then they do that bullshit. Well, you could have asked.
You could have asked.
And I'm like,
because the divine told me to sit down and be quiet and not say shit.
I'm taking my ball and I'm going home.
Am I listening to ancestors or the divine? The divine. The divine will trump my ancestors, any spiritual guide at any point in time. So I don't care what you said. The divine said to sit down, be quiet, and observe.
Yep.
Wait for it. There's a difference in authority, man.
Wait for it, because if you miss it, it's already on its way back around, bro. Just give it a minute.
Just give it a whole nother moon cycle. A whole nother moon cycle. Most definitely. Well, it is time for me to jump off. It has been a lovely evening with you. Thank you for hanging out with me.
Thank you all for being here.
Yeah,
for
thank
those
you
of you
guys
in the
for hanging
room,
out.
thank you.
I appreciate you. tomorrow I will be on at some point in time doing healing, so I am allowed to say that because I do know that for a fact, because I was already told that twice today. So I know that hopefully I'm going to be on early, because I know a lot of people on East Coast time, you know, and stuff like that come on. So I'm going to be on early my time, which is hopefully I'll be on by 8:30 in the morning my time, which would be early your time. 10:30 was it? Yeah, 9:30, 10:30, 10:30 your time. So hopefully you guys don't have to work, and hopefully you guys can hang out for a little bit tomorrow morning, and we'll do some cool stuff tomorrow. But I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for being here on YouTube as well. Take care of yourselves and each other.
Yeah,
All right,
thank you
guys?
for your support. Thanks for hanging out.
Most definitely. Take care of yourselves.
Have a
All
good
right?
night.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna go.